Play it with Xbox Game Pass.
Hello and welcome to the Microsoft Flight Simulator News Dispatcher for the date of October the 31st, 2019. In today's episode, we'll be looking at the latest and greatest updates from Microsoft on their new and upcoming simulator, starting with the homepage. Now today, it's a minor update, very small. Happy Halloween, everyone. And Microsoft Flight Sim are keeping the update brief this week. And the team is preparing for a lot of things coming in November and December. In a moment, we're going to actually go for a sneak peek special look behind the scenes of that global preview event, where we've actually got footage of people using the simulator. We actually get to see the menu system, so stay tuned for that. But in November, what Microsoft are gearing up for in the next couple of weeks is Episode 3, Aerodynamics, talking about the planes. We're also going to show a special preview of what the planes are at the end of this video. There's a development roadmap update as well coming, and a SDK update. SDK is a development kit, meaning that possibly you will be able to completely add on and put in your own third-party add-ons to enhance this world. There's also the partnership announcement series coming in the future, and the feedback snapshot. But getting back to today's update, the build program, Tech Alpha 2 recruitment. If you haven't already signed up for Tech Alpha 1, if you haven't already received your Tech Alpha, don't worry. If you've signed up and you haven't received it yet, it will be coming in the next few days. For those of you who didn't even get the email to say you've been accepted, don't worry. You've automatically been registered for the Tech Alpha 2, which will begin November the 7th. Okay, so the registration will open again for those that didn't even register for Tech Alpha 1. You'll be able to register, very simple process. And then if you've already registered for Tech Alpha 1 but were not accepted, you automatically are accepted into the Tech Alpha 2 registration. Doesn't mean you're getting it. It means you've been automatically registered. And we're most likely going to be get mid-November to late November for the actual release and availability of that. And it's going to be a different version than the Tech Alpha 1 team got. So if you didn't get in the Tech Alpha 1 team, don't stress. You'll probably get a better version of it for the Tech Alpha 2. And also, Microsoft want to say a big thank you to everyone who's watching for the amazing feedback that they've been receiving over their latest feature discovery series for the weather. And they had an overwhelming response from the community. The first 2 episodes really went home and hit home really well, and it was a great, incredible, valuable to the team to see the comments that were made. And of course, they have got social media channels now that are official Microsoft Flight Simulator social media channels, and the links are on the homepage, which I will put in the description of this video below. So, I mean, that's really it from Microsoft. You know, the final dates for the release are going to be the 7th of November, sorry. And they want to wish everyone a safe and happy Halloween. But we've got some more incredible footage coming right now. So, as you can see, a lot of socialites got the chance to go to Seattle, Washington and check out the Flight Simulator preview event. And this basically is some exclusive footage from that event. And whilst you watch that, I'm going to go over my top 10 wants for the Microsoft Flight Sim. Starting with number 1, persistent frames. I want a smooth 60 or 120 frames per second all the time, not dependent on the hardware, no matter what the weather. I don't want my graphics card or my CPU to determine the quality of my sim. Number 2, proper FSX style scenario missions or a full career mode, starting with a flight school, much like Flight Sim World had. You start with a flight school, you work your way up, maybe even earning licenses like you can in my virtual pilot life program. I'll pop a link in the description box below for that. You can sign up straight away. But proper scenario missions that are really fun to play. Number 3, people on the streets. Okay, so we've seen birds in the air in the trailer, and we know that they have animals on the ground, but I want to see fluid animated people walking around the streets, like you can with GSX, but to help really the immersiveness of the sim, the VFR flying, I would like to see people on the streets. Number 4, always online. I want to have an option where I connect live to the sim and fly in a real online world like VATSIM. Not to be as serious as, say, like Pilot Edge, but to have an element of fun, much like the FSX multiplayer online, but not to have it as a separate program, but integrated in as part of the Sims menu. Number 5, the ability to own a small island as your hangar to keep your planes in. So when you first boot up the game, you get to choose a small little location. It has a runway big enough to land a jumbo jet. It has a hangar big enough to put in about 10 aircraft, and that is your small island, and you can walk around it and you can fly around it, but that's your home base, as it were, the main starting point. Number 6, the ability to step out of a plane and walk into another without any reloading. That would be awesome if you could just literally go from plane to plane and no cutscene and no have to reload the sim. I think that would be awesome. Number 7, stress-free sim. Okay, no crashes, no patches that upset a sim, no updates from Windows or a graphic card update that completely stutters everything. I want a stress-free sim. I don't want the sim to be dependent on the hardware, which goes back to number 1 with the persistent frames not dependent on the hardware. I want this sim to be fluid on its own regardless, and I think we live in a very technologically advanced world where that is possible. Number 8, damage effects and real life stress to aircraft with damaging effects on landing. So if you crash your plane, you see a beautiful damaged aircraft completely obliterated like an NTSB video. Also, if you do a hard landing, you actually see the physical stresses of that hard landing. And over time, real life stress can happen on your aircraft. Obviously, this can be turned on and off. Number 9, hot air balloons, submarines, space shuttles, the ability to climb to just on the verge of space as well as explore the deepest waters. I know this is Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I think they're trying to really create a world, and I think part of that world is going through in it, like everywhere, from the deepest oceans to the highest of the sky, and the correct aircraft to do that in. A hot air balloon with the atmospheric sky in Microsoft, oh my gosh, that'd be beautiful. And finally, number 10, I want this to be the final flight simulator. No version 2 that must be bought separately, no pro version, just this version, and then that is it. Then they just make it and enhance it better and better for the future. I don't want the Microsoft Flight Simulator 2 to come out and I have to then invest more money and port everything over and completely change everything. I want this to be the last flight simulator I buy. Now we're going to check out what planes are in Microsoft Flight Sim.
Bye.